Hello, my name is Robert Brownell, and in May of 2008 I visited the Florida Lakeland revival with Todd Bentley. I stayed there for about 1 week, attending both the morning and evening services, and I gained a first-hand experience about what goes on at the revival. I was also an usher and a catcher at the revival, so I was allowed to see things that others were not allowed to see. And now I would like to address and confront some of the lies, slander, and accusations that have been said against the revival. One of the accusations against the revival is that there is too much preaching and even worshiping of angels. Well, in all the time I was there, we didn't see anybody worshiping angels. It just didn't happen. Angels were not the focus of the revival. Jesus was. Yes, some people did have encounters with angels, and that's not unbiblical. About a third of the Bible is regarding experiences with angels. But the focus of the revival was on Jesus, not on angels. One of the accusations against the revival was this: how can it be a revival if you're not preaching the cross? Well, what many people don't know is that every day we had teams of over 100 people go out on the street and evangelize. And we were taught by the Fresh Fire Ministries how to witness to people. What style of gospel did we use? We used the Way of the Master style, which is the closest one that I've seen to the Bible. It shows a person that they're sinful, they need repentance, and only by the cross of Christ can they be saved. So saying that there's no preaching the cross is just blatantly false. Another thing people don't realize is that most of us that went to the revival are already Christians. Most of us were pastors, evangelists, teachers, missionaries, and ministers already. We didn't come there to hear another sermon. We went there because we want to share the gospel the way the Bible did, the way people like the apostles shared the gospel, with signs, wonders, miracles, and healings following. You know, all the sermons in the world don't heal people. And when you show people the healing power of Jesus Christ, it makes the gospel presentation much more powerful. That's why I went to the Lakeland, Florida revival. And it was made abundantly clear that the healings that were happening at the revival were because of the cross of Christ. So saying that there's no preaching the cross, blatantly false and misguided. Another one of the accusations against the revival is that there are no real healings. Nobody's being healed. It's just all hype. Well, hype doesn't heal a person. And with over 10,000 people that have claimed healings in under 3 months, to call those 10,000 people liars, that is a very dangerous statement to make. When I was there, I interviewed about 25 people who were healed. And I verified their testimony physically and by friends and family members. In fact, I was sitting next to one guy named George. And he had a missing eye and a glass eye to fill the socket. He even pulled out his glass eye and handed it to me. Well, he started seeing lights and shadows through the glass eye. Now, I verified this with his pastor. And hype does not heal an eye. Another thing, what is the biblical evidence that people were healed 2,000 years ago? The evidence given in the Bible is a person's personal testimony, along with the testimony of people that knew them. And this is the same evidence given today at the revival. But if people don't believe that anyone is being healed by that evidence, they probably don't believe that anyone was healed 2,000 years ago. And as believers, it should be easier for us to believe that people are being healed than to doubt anyone's being healed. Many people ask, how could you go to a revival led by someone with tattoos and piercings, which are clearly not biblical? Well, first of all, I don't judge someone by their outward appearance. And yes, maybe if Todd Bentley went to a seminary school right after his conversion, maybe he wouldn't have gotten the tattoos. But that was the culture he was raised in, and I don't hold that against him. And if he really wanted to impress people, if it was just all a big show, he could have simply worn nicer clothes, covered his tattoos, and removed the chin ring. But he didn't, because impressing people wasn't his goal. Many of the critics have claimed that false doctrine is being preached at the revival. Well, first of all, most of us at the revival, we're not baby Christians. Many of us have been Christians for quite a while. In fact, each night there's over 1,000 pastors, preachers, teachers, ministers, missionaries, and evangelists. And if we would have heard some kind of false doctrine, like you got to call on this other name, or you got to follow this other God, or it's okay to sin, or it's not really the cross of Christ that saves. If we would have heard something like that, there would have been instant reaction from the crowd. But we didn't hear false doctrine being preached. And when the critics claim that false doctrine is being preached, it really means doctrine that they don't subscribe to. Another accusation against the revival is that it's all about Todd Bentley. Well, each night I went to the revival, we would spend 1 to 2 hours of worshiping Jesus and praising his name before anyone even got on the stage and talked. It wasn't about Todd Bentley. It was about Jesus Christ and the healing power of his cross. In conclusion, here is one lesson that I've learned about people who make accusations. For those people who are not prophets and don't recognize anybody as a prophet, they shouldn't be the ones telling us who the false prophets are. Those who do not have a healing ministry should not be criticizing other people that do. And those who do not get visions from the Lord shouldn't be telling the rest of us which visions are from the Lord. And people who do not get angelic encounters should not be the experts on which encounters are true. Those who do not speak in tongues shouldn't instruct others about this gift. And those who are not conducting a revival should not criticize those who are. Because it's like when the Pharisees criticized Jesus because he healed on the Sabbath day. They weren't healing on any day. So where do they get off telling Jesus how to heal? The reason there is so much accusation and slander against the revival is because there is a Christian civil war. The devil's main weapon against the church is to use Christians to attack other Christians, spreading fear and division, all in the name of the Lord.